The Boston Celtics get championship number 18. They're going to have 18 banners in their arena now. The Boston Celtics, they've been a great historic franchise since the beginning of basketball. Bill Russell, now, the duo between Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they finally get all the way to the finish line and complete the job. 7 years in the NBA for Tatum, and he finally gets to the finish line, finishes it off. But let's be honest, the Celtics didn't win because of him directly. It was more of an overall unit. I mean, they had a best player, a different best player every single night. Drew Holiday stepped up. Derek White stepped up. Brown was the most consistent, so that's why he won MVP. And Tatum played better the last two games, but shooting from three and shooting in general, he was terrible. Had a couple 30-point performances, but yeah, shooting percentage was bad for him. And he was getting cooked defensively by Luka whenever he guarded Luka. And Jaylen Brown, a big part of him winning Finals MVP too, was his, impact defensively when he was guarding Luka. Just the aggressiveness he played with, the intensity. He set the tone at the beginning of this series, and he also won Eastern Conference Finals MVP as well. So, Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Celtics team. This was a discussion a couple seasons ago, too. It's been the discussion, but Tatum, people have been saying he's a top 5 player in the NBA. I think after this series, after this playoff run, I don't think he's in that conversation anymore. He's outside the top 5. Jaylen Brown, though, on the other hand, he's a top 10 player, I think. Just the shooting, just the ability offensively, everything he does is better than Tatum, I think. The player we think Tatum is, Jaylen Brown is really that guy. That as a leader, better defensively. People were making fun of him for not being able to dribble, with his left hand, but every area of his game, he's continued to get better and better, and there's no flaw in his game now. Next season, expect him to come out even better and maybe head towards, what else he needs, an MVP in his resume, and he's off to a great start of his career. Not going to take anything away from Tatum, though. He was playing like a role player. He had some good performances, but he's still a really good player in this league, and I'm glad the Celtics didn't break up Jaylen Brown and Tatum. And Brad Stevens, man, the job he did as a GM for the Celtics team, I mean, the job he's done as a coach for the Celtics before, a couple Eastern Conference Finals appearances, and as a GM, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals, and then an NBA championship. So really, really good start to his career for him. Only 47 years old as a GM and as a coach. And then Joe Mazzulla, the job he did as a coach this series, this whole playoffs, this whole season, he did a phenomenal job. People were wanting Udoka back and saying, he's a better coach than Mazzulla, but Mazzulla stepped up to the plate this whole season, and he's been fantastic. He's just a weird ass dude. But Tatum, he's doing his corny shit. He's trolling, trying to recreate every iconic NBA Finals victory moment. Deuce Tatum says Jason Tatum's the best player in the world. We don't give a fuck about that because we all know it's not true. Only Deuce Tatum thinks that shit. But Celtics, great season. They were the best team all year. And really excited to see who comes up to the plate to stop them in the East. I mean, we'll see what they do when the whole East is healthy, when the Sixers are healthy, when the Bucks are healthy. Things are going to be more competitive. Donovan Mitchell, will he go to Miami? Will things get tricky there? Will Miami, a team that's had their number, be able to take them down? It's going to be really interesting. But this NBA Finals as a whole, maybe one of the worst NBA Finals of all time. I mean, you look at Game 4, that was the worst, viewership, worst ratings since the bubble, and that was the only thing that's the only NBA Finals that competed with this NBA Finals in terms of viewership. And you look at every game was won by a victory margin of almost 20 points. So every game that the other team won, the Mavs, they won in a blowout. The Celtics, every game has been pretty much a blowout. So this series, I haven't been that tapped in. It really felt like the bubble series. But I think Jimmy Butler brought a little more different aspect to that. Him trying to beat the Lakers with nobody on his side with Tyler Hero banged up. But yeah, this series was just not it. It didn't live up to the expectations. Kyrie Irving, he played, bad for majority of this series. Luka, he really exposed himself as not that guy yet to win a championship. He's not ready to win a championship. Just, him beefing with the refs, his play defensively, he's not in the right shape to win a championship. So just a lot of things were put out there on full display in this NBA Finals. So hopefully we get a better one next year, but that wraps the NBA season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this NBA Finals. Was it the worst NBA Finals in history? And what were your thoughts on the Boston Celtics taking it all the way and finishing the job? Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.